Hey guys, it is time to take a trip back to Hart County and discuss all things Moonlit, Colorado. Hey guys, if you are new here, welcome to the Book Path. I'm Nicole, and if this isn't your first rodeo, thanks for sticking around. So we were lucky enough to get an ARC to the second installment in the Hart County series, Moonlit, Colorado by Hannah Shield. A couple months ago, we did Star-Crossed Colorado, which was the first book, and that involved Ashford and Emma, and it is time to go back there and talk about what is happening to all the other members of, I think it was the Lonely Heart Club, the Broken Heart Club. But basically, we are back in Hart County. This time, we are back in Hart County for Grace, Ashford's younger sister. She was the one who, in the first book, you got a few glimpses of her, kind of shy, but very protective of her brothers. Glasses, messy bun, just kind of like loungy wear, comfy wear, aka she is like all of us. All of us book loving, nerdy, loungy, whatever you want to call it types. That is Grace. And her friend Piper gets tickets to the grand opening of the local ski lodge that was recently bought out by Ashford's friend and old military buddy Dane Knightley. And so they go. It's a masquerade. They don some masks and they go. And Grace gets separated from Piper pretty early on, and she kind of gets a little bit of anxiety about everything, goes into the bathroom where she bumps into another woman who is also uncomfortable about being there, and Grace's mask breaks. The other lady's like, you know what, I'm going to go home, take my mask and everything. And this basically spirals into a night of just really weird coincidences. Of course, her meeting Dane, not knowing that it's Dane, and they have a nice little flirtatious thing. So when they meet again through Ashford, because Dane and Ashford are friends, it's kind of we need to keep this under wraps, because if my brother knew that you were the one flirting with me, it's not going to end well for you. So, it kind of starts off that way, and you have Dane who meets Grace, and he's just, he falls first. He falls hard. It is the cutest thing. And it's all about how he can get to know her and figure this out, because he obviously knows that this can't be more than a one night type situation. Like, this is his best friend's little sister. And even though she's like not little, she's like 28, I think. But still, it's the feelings are the same of like, I can't just try this out. I have to be serious about what I want, because this is not a girl that you can just walk away from. This is somebody, who you're friends with the family type thing. So you have kind of the best friend's younger sister, older brother's best friend trope going on. Also, the fact that Dane has kind of come into his own and is basically a billionaire. So you have that billionaire romance type of situation, small town romance. And it just kind of goes from there in this weird series of, while Dane and Grace are trying to figure out their feelings for one another, because Grace is just very afraid of giving her heart out and not being betrayed or hurt by a man. You have Dane who, is very much, I don't want to say infatuated with Grace, but he just finds her beautiful. He even, despite, the hair bun, the glasses, he loves that about her. He finds her honest and endearing and good. And he wants that. He wants, her in his life. And it's just kind of how they got to figure that out. But while you have that going on, there's this sort of mystery unfolding, because stuff starts to happen around Grace, and you're starting to wonder, is this something due to Grace, or is this something due to incidents that happened that first night at the masquerade? And it's just this interesting mystery that continues to go on throughout the book, involving all of them. I ended up giving it 5 stars again. I know I gave Star-Crossed Colorado 5 stars, but I really, while these books aren't like super fast paced or super into just all different sorts of things, they are kind of those feels of a small town, romance type. They are kind of calm, have a little bit of those almost Hallmarky feels, but with some spice. and a little bit of mystery. They do everything that they need to do. The characters are what they need to be. They're not over the top. They're not underwhelming. They are exactly what you picture them to be. Like, they feel like just regular people, even if they're billionaire status, even if they're celebrities, they're regular people, and they have their own things. They have their daily life. They have their family issues. And it's nice because it doesn't need to be more than what it is, and it's not less than it needs to be. It is exactly what it needs to be at all times in this book, actually in this series, because same with the first one. But I do recommend it highly. I loved the characters. Grace is just so sweet. You root for her. You feel, akin to her. And she kind of has fun every once in a while. She lets her little inner naughty girl fly out, and it's kind of fun to watch. Dane is just wonderful because he's not like a cocky billionaire. He's got a little bit of teasing flirtatiousness with him, a little bit of confidence, but it's nothing like, once again, over the top. Like, it is just what it needs to be. But it's fun loving because he also counters it with a protective side that he, got in the military as well, that he also has around his mother, who is suffering from, I believe it's early onset dementia, I want to say. But she's, having some situations, and just him having to deal with that while loving his mother, and kind of the story he grew up with, and having like the family issues that he has. So it's like, he's not perfect, and he recognizes that he's not perfect. And Grace recognizes that she's not perfect, but they see kind of that imperfect perfection in one another. And I really love that, because I feel like that's something that's like really true. Like, you find somebody, and the key thing to loving somebody is loving them despite their faults, or with all their faults, and starting to find their faults kind of endearing, which happens over time. And so like I said, I really liked the story. I might even say that I liked Moonlit Colorado better than Star-Crossed, just because the plot with the mystery, it just seemed interwoven and blended together so smoothly, and maybe a little bit more smoothly than in the first one, but I still loved Star-Crossed Colorado, so that's what it is. But like I said, I was so happy to get the copy of this, because like I said, I really, really liked Star-Crossed, and I wanted to go back and see these other people. And I know that there's going to be more books in this series, and I can't wait, because all these people who make up this like so-called Lonely Heart Club or Broken Heart Club, they're good people, and they're fun. And I can't wait to see, you have, I think it's Teller, and who's the sheriff, and he's at odds with like the kind of local celebrity, aka Ashford's sister-in-law from the first one. And so there might be something there with them. And then I want to see who's going to get Callum's attention, who is Ashford and Grace's brother, who's like the playboy flirt firefighter. And so I'm like, there's just a lot of fun with it. There's also Piper, who she's a single mom running her cafe, but she's just got some spice to her and her own character. So like I said, all of these characters are just really well written. The storyline's really well done. It flows so well. It's such a good read. So yeah, I ended up giving it 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. And I will definitely be trying to get the next ones in this series. Just so that you know, Moonlit Colorado by Hannah Shield comes out April 30th, 2025. So just a few days around the corner. So if you are looking for something with all the feels, small town romance, billionaire, kind of nerdy girl, the brother's best friend, the brother's little sister, all those fun little tropes, check it out. You won't regret it. Have fun with it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.